sunsets and skies so blue. Mountains whisper stories of dreams so true. From oceans roaring wild to valleys deep, a heartbeat of a nation that will not sleep. Save South Africa, rise above the storm. Hands together strong, a new world is born. Beauty in our hearts, let it light the way. Evil cannot reign when we seize the day. The people sing louder than shadows can scream. Together we're stronger than the wicked scheme. The soil holds our history, roots run so long. A melody of freedom, we're singing strong. They may curse the land with lies they weave, but we hold the truth in what we believe. Their crowns may crumble, their thrones may fall, for the power is the people's above it all. Save South Africa, rise above the storm. Hands together strong, a new world is born. Beauty in our hearts, let it light the way. Evil cannot reign when we seize the day. People sing louder than shadows can scream. Together we're stronger than the wicked scheme. The people sing louder than shadows can scream. Together we're stronger than the wicked scheme. The people sing louder than shadows can scream. Together we're stronger than the wicked scheme. The soil holds our history, roots run so long. A melody of freedom, we're singing strong. They may curse the land with lies they weave, but we hold the truth in what we believe. Their crowns may crumble, their thrones may fall, for the power is the people above it all. We know it all.
I'm saying bye to all the lies and all the times you cried, saying that I wasn't right, yet I was right by your side. You manipulator, playing games, your friends commentators, and I don't know what you say about our private conversations, but it's got them hating. Thanks to all the rumors you be claiming, it's cool, I'm done with you, so they can throw you a celebration. You gon' hate it when you see me with somebody living better. I'm trying to tell you that me just doing me gon' have you jealous.
Okay, where's the camera at? All right. Well, that was weird. My camera's wrong. Can y'all hear me? Let's take a look and see if people can actually hear me. That was strange. Camera stopped working. All right, I can hear myself. This is good news. Well, the power of the people is above it all, ladies and gentlemen. The power is the people above it all. And we're going to talk about that tonight. Welcome back to the program. Thank you to all you Neanderthals, canines, occupants. I am calling and broadcasting from the smallest frickin' hotel room in all of South Africa, here in the mother city of Cape Town. I was in a bread box last week that was larger than this hotel room. Welcome, everybody. Question about when the refugee program will start. I'm sorry not to be curt or brief for tourists, but the refugee program will start when the refugee program starts. No one knows. We couldn't possibly know. Senior Fundamentalist Board couldn't tell you. Nostradamus couldn't tell you. It's up to the Trump administration, and we're still waiting for them. What will happen if Trump meets with Ramaphosa? Will it end the refugee program? The chances of that are slim and none. And Slim just left the building. There you go. Welcome back to the program, folks. Tonight, I don't have animosity toward people, but I'm starting to develop animosity towards certain politicians here in South Africa. The conduct of some people is absolutely reprehensible, and I'll leave it at that. But I'm going to tell you something. If someone keeps harassing me and threatening me, well, then it's going to, the guns are coming out. I'm tired of being harassed by people for doing my job and being honest with people. But anyway, that's a whole other story, not one for tonight's conversation. Let's take a look at who's in the chat. And by the way, you will be directed towards Ronaldo after this broadcast. If you want to go there, you don't have to go looking for it. That's automatic direct. Mandy van Rooyen is here. Rulinda, Chantel, Sonic Boom, Yolanda Smith Wills, Michael Storm. No, I don't work. I don't go to the pub. I do work. Wills, J-Rod, David Clement. God bless from the Misplaced Texans in Cape Town. Interesting. Thank you for that, David Clement. Toinette, Max, good evening. Americana family. Cyberx, Jacques De Beer. Hello, Major Wyatt. No, Jacques De Beer, I haven't been a major since the year 2007. Yeah, last time I was a major was 2007. That's a long time ago. How am I today? I'm doing well, Jacques. Load shedding suspended. I'm pretty sure the caterers have been aware of the colonels in town. I don't know about that, Mitch. But I am getting phone calls from all kinds of people and some influential people in South Africa, not all of which I can disclose. I can't always tell you everything, but I can tell you that I've gotten some odd phone. I got a very strange message on WhatsApp today. Nothing wrong with the message, but it was a person I never, ever expected. Why is that not showing up? I'm hearing it, but I'm not seeing the alert. Why is the alert not showing up? My camera's down here. Where's the alert at? Hang on a second. That's disturbed me now. There we go. Okay, now it's up there. Yeah, so from someone I never expect to hear from, someone important, someone influential, and I'll be talking to them tomorrow. Gregor Fouché, welcome to you. There's no need for a lift at the Kapstadt Brauhaus in Blauberg, folks. It's a ground level thing. You just have to wheel over from the parking lot, which is pretty flat. So if someone's looking for a lift, there's no need for a lift. It's ground level. Good evening, Barbara Harrison. How are you? I've had a very good and not exhausting day. It's been a tough one. Woke up to threats once again, receiving threats in my mail this morning. Some people just demented, unbelievable conduct. Hope President Trump doesn't end the refugee program because, no, I don't think so, Corny. I wouldn't lose any sleep over that. Liz Wheeler, welcome to you. But why do you care, Corny? No South Africans are going to take it. We've heard this from many politicians out there. Nobody's interested in the refugee program. No South Africans will take advantage of it. It's all just a myth. It's all lies told by, who knows telling the lies, but apparently they're all lies. That's what I've been told from very reliable sources. The South African media. Ronell, so good evening. Yeah, Ronell, and thanks for setting things up. I'll have to make the banner. I'll probably do that late tonight for that meet and greet in Vanderbilt Park. Wendy's, okay, the meet and greet for Bolito still got to be sorted out. I see you gave a bunch of locations, Wendy, but then you said you don't know Bolito, you're not from there. So I prefer somebody who actually can give me a recommendation. I mean, not every Tiger's Milk is open, some have closed, and not everyone is nice. For instance, another week without a job. Jacques, I'm sorry to hear that. What do you mean you don't have a job? White people are rich. Don't you know that? Your income is 20 times that of black South Africans. You're all just wealthy. You're sitting on, rainbows and pots of gold. So I've been told by Reuters, in fact. And for those of you who've seen the Reuters report about 30 people having been approved for the refugee program, I'm disputing that. I believe that they have falsely interpreted something that's been shared with them. And there's Ronaldo. Says in the chat, what do you get, 5 grand? 70. That's actually not bad. Hey, Ronaldo, I've got traffic coming your way after this, so my small audience can join you this evening. If they'd like, Peter Books, welcome to you. Erica, welcome to Friends and Family Only Friday, folks. That's right, Friends and Family Only. That's what we're going to start calling every Friday here. Drop in a bucket, Sloth Puppy's back. Sloth Puppy's one of those OGs, was here from the very beginning. This time I just can't remember. John Spence, thank you for your membership. I appreciate that. Nora Russo, Hank Inkwell, Odyssey, Ronell Storm, Rada Fletch, Ernst Cuthbert, Chris Ferreira, AJ Quinn, Arctic is here. Francois Diego. Hey, Francois, what's going on, brother? Interesting fellow there. Candace Stridham, thank you to you. And Marius, Elmarie Puth, JP Wolfhort, Erica and Evie Badenhorst, Anita Gerbla, Caroline Bernard Croft, Pete's name, and when is this program starting? I answered that already, right? Irene Berger, Kristen, Dirk Duploy, Corny, Theo Appelgren. Wow, you guys have some wild surnames. There's Arctic, he's in here. Great to see you there. Tolkien, welcome to you. Lindy Dodenhauser, welcome, Lindy. Sarita Flippa, and then Gordon van Rensburg, Jean Spice. Willem Duckett, welcome to you. You like that song? It is beautiful, isn't it? Prachtig. Beautiful. And who else we got here in the chat? There's Courtney McBride, our Naval Reserve. Welcome to you. Gertha Hart, age restriction. There's no age restriction on refugee program. The refugee program is not about immigration. It's not immigration. It's about getting people whose lives are in jeopardy, at risk, in peril, out of a place, and getting to a place where they can resettle. That's what it's all about, in safety and comfort. And so whether you're 2 or 92 is not germane to the program. You just have to be alive when you arrive. Be alive when you arrive. That's all that matters. Carol Reed, Belito would be good. Yes, on the 29th, and we're looking at 4 o'clock, because I'll have to drive back to Durban that night since this became a late decision. Heinrich Johannes Swanepoel just got alert. I don't know about an attack on the embassy. I've looked. There is an attack in Mozambique. The embassy reported on the terror attack, but I don't know one about that. We're going to get that in just a few moments. All right. Hotful Bikers is back. Leona van der Merwe, Jacques de Beer. Maak my hart seer te drink wat van die land gaan word. Okay. Milton Chewing Gum, Chris Stander, Sam Tony, Somerset West. Yes, welcome to you, Elsa, Psycho Billy, Heinrich Johannes Swanepoel. Teresa, it was great seeing Feldriff. You definitely gave us hope. Hope you enjoyed the rest. Well, my visit's going well. The people I'm meeting are really wonderful. There are a few nasty people that have been sending really nasty messages, and shame on them. Shame on them. I've treated everybody fairly, equally, and I don't abuse anyone, despite the lies that some people tell. All right, Mark Dahl, welcome to you. Corny, I've been to Bloemfontein. It's a bit out of the way. I'll try it again. Rita, oh yeah. Well, I was in and out. Rid, I was in and out. I was back there, and nobody was there at 3:30, I think it was, or 4 o'clock. I was there at 4 o'clock. The place was empty. So yeah, I was going to go back and record another video, but the studio was locked up. Joe Kruger, welcome to you. Okay, all right. Sonic Boom. Sorry you said that, Dylan Comrick. Dylan's one of the OGs. Thank you for being here. Rachel, keep the good work. We love you. Well, not everybody does. I'm glad you guys do. Yaku Northnagel, welcome to you. Stella 4, third time lucky. Last 2 calls chatting, but no Colonel. Huh? What are you talking about? And Lionel Ernst, Murray. Okay, I can't do everybody. I'm going to have to jump here. Great. I think I'm at the beginning anyway. At the end. Gadget, Reg Dodd is here. Wendy Foree, Brent. Catherine just became a member. Well, thank you so much for membership, guys. Nikita Torian, welcome to you, and Jenny Joel. All right, folks, let's get to the news. There was a terror attack in Mozambique. The United States Embassy did report on this. Let me find that very quickly. Where the heck is it at? Something ain't right here. It should be, there it is. U.S. Embassy, that's not it. Here we go. April 23rd, so 2 days ago now, the U.S. government has received information that terrorists attacked villages on the edge of the Niassa Special Reserve near Nairoto before entering the reserve and taking hostages at a private hunting lodge. Mozambican security forces are engaged. Stay alert for increased violence on the southeastern and eastern borders of the Niassa Special Reserve. The U.S. Embassy in Mozambique continues to monitor the situation and remains committed to working with the government of Mozambique to counter violent extremism. It is the Niassa Special Reserve on the borders of Niassa and Cabo Delgado provinces. And the recommendations for folks are to reconsider travel to the Special Reserve and surrounding villages and hunting properties, review your personal security plans, monitor local media for updates on changing conditions, and enroll in the Smart Traveler Enrollment Program, STEP, to receive security alerts. All right, so there you go, folks. That's the terror event in Mozambique. To my knowledge, I'm not aware of another one, but that is the one that we're talking about here. All right, so that takes care of the Mozambique issue. Now it's on to something else. This is a fascinating story here. So, the Minister of Agriculture, I'm not sure if this is his role as the leader of the Democratic Alliance or as the Minister of Agriculture. It sounds like the position of leader of the Democratic Alliance. No genocide, no land grabs. John Steenhuisen backs Ramaphosa ahead of Trump talks. This is in the newly redesigned Independent Online. DA leader John Steenhuisen said President Ramaphosa's meetup with Trump would be a chance to clarify that terrible things are not happening in South Africa. Well, I'm sorry, Mr. Steenhuisen, that's horseshit. Terrible things are happening. Terrible things are happening. They happen every day to black, white, and brown South Africans. You may live in an ivory palace and be protected by security and have luxury estates and eat in swanky restaurants, but that's not the life of every South African. Terrible things are happening in South Africa. Don't try to lie about it. Wow. Again, I hold people accountable for their nonsense. Steenhuisen stressed that this would be a moment to show that the country was not a picture that was painted to him by some. Here he goes. This is John Steenhuisen trashing other people's reputations by some. He didn't call him out by name, but we've heard him call AfriForum and Solidarity names in the past. There's no mass expropriation of land. No one ever claimed there was, John Steenhuisen. See, that's bullshit leftist distraction, distracting people from the facts. No one's claiming there's mass land expropriation, DA leader. No one ever claimed that. That's horseshit. That's what bullshit artists do. You're trying to distract. Land is being confiscated, and land has been confiscated. Stop lying. There's no genocide taking place at all. No one claims there's genocide except leftists and politicians who use their political gain. There is no genocide. No one made that claim. There's a cultural genocide of Afrikaans. That's a fact. I am very glad the two presidents have spoken. Well, on that point, Mr. Steenhuisen, we can agree. I'm also glad that Ramaphosa and Trump have spoken. We don't know the contents of that meeting beyond what Ramaphosa told us. He spoke to the IOL yesterday on the sidelines at an official working visit to South Africa by Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky. Ramaphosa announced imminent talks with Trump. I'd like to know when these talks are going to take place. He didn't tell us when. He said, we both agreed to meet soon to address various matters regarding U.S. and South Africa relations. We also spoke about the need to foster good relations between our two countries. Well, absolutely. Stop shitting on the United States and it'll all go smoothly. The United States wants South Africa to succeed. We have no desire for South Africa to fail. It's only the government of South Africa and its actions that are come to question. Now, Trump made a bold statement about terrible things were happening in South Africa. You consider that bold, IOL? I don't know. It was bold. It's simply a statement. He said this was after African and Solidarity movement lied to Trump's administration that white people in South Africa are targeted by the government. Really? Now, this is news in the Independent line. That's commentary. That's op-ed. That's not a quote. There's no quotes, so that I don't know that John Steenhuisen said that. But the IOL is saying that, the author. He's saying that this was after African and Solidarity lied to the Trump administration that white people in South Africa were targeted by the government. They didn't lie. White people in South Africa are targeted by the government. And so are Indians and so are coloreds. That's a statement of fact. Statement of fact. 142 laws. BEE, racist to the core. How can anybody with a straight face say that? Now, again, that's not Steenhuisen. That is the Independent line making that claim. What a crock of horse manure. A total crock of horse manure. I think John Steenhuisen should ask for a retraction from the Independent line for putting that in the story in which they quoted him, because they give the impression that Steenhuisen's one said that. He didn't say that, to my knowledge. I think he should ask for a retraction. Vilma, thank you for 6 months of membership. Yep. Unbelievable. Unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. So back to the story here. Steenhuisen urged citizens to tread carefully and use the next 90-day period very wisely and very cleverly to be able to avoid the tariff increase. What 90-day period are you referring to, Minister of Agriculture? The 90-day period began on April 3rd. That's already 22 days ago. So it's not 90 days now. Now you're down around 60 days, 60-plus days, 68 days. The clock is ticking, and there's no team from South Africa and America. No team to discuss this. Again, the Minister of Agriculture, in his role as the leader of the Democratic Alliance, has said that there's no mass expropriation of land. Well, that's true, but it's not germane. No one's making any such claim. Trump never made that claim. He says there's no genocide taking place at all. Trump also never made that claim. That's dishonest and disingenuous to even bring those topics up. But that's what politicians do. They mislead with obfuscation and distraction. That's not the case. Who's claiming there's a white genocide? AfriForum? Nope. Solidarity? Nope. Chris Wyatt? Nope. Ronaldo Groot's? Nope. Byron Shepherd? Nope. None of these people are claiming there's a white genocide. Who's claiming it? The media and political party leaders. That's who's claiming it. Anyway, very dishonest nonsense being reported there. Yep. Adele Visser gave 35 Rand. There will be a very important email tomorrow in your inbox. It's an invitation. Please don't forget. Okay, Adele, thank you for that. I'll try to check it out. Thank you for 35 Rand to get my attention. And Kyle Nadir, excuse me, for your membership. Thank you for that. Okay. Indians and colors have been including beef for 30 years until now. Most of them support the ANC. Well, R.B. Jordan, you say that, R.B. Jordan, but in actual practice, Indians and colors are widely discriminated against despite BE. Blacks are given contracts over those folks. So you may be written into law, but the application of law means they're just discriminated as well. So that's a fact. That's a fact, Jack. Just want to ask you, what would you recommend as refugee programs taking? Just want to ask you, what would you recommend as the refugee program is taking long? What would you recommend if we go for asylum in the USA? Okay, well, Nikita, you can't go for asylum in the United States. I've covered this so many times. Perhaps you're new to this. You can only apply for asylum inside the United States when you've entered the country legally. So the perfect example of this would be Mikhail Baryshnikov as a Soviet ballet dancer, comes to the United States in the 1980s and wants to escape communism. He came on a visa for a tour, and then he declares asylum. He applies for asylum while he's in the United States. He's given protection, a succor, and he can stay there. Only legitimate people in the United States who are there for legitimate reason and then seek to evade going back to the place where they're in danger can apply for asylum. No South African can apply for asylum unless they happen to be in the U.S. I would not recommend going to the U.S. and applying for asylum. 97% of asylum cases are rejected because they're all bullshit. Total bullshit. Don't go to America and apply for asylum because you're going to get rejected. Once you're rejected for asylum, you're screwed. You're never getting over there. Probably won't even get a tourist visa to go back there. So it's not a good idea. It's a bad idea. Talk to Evan Galopter. He's an asylum attorney. He handles those cases for people who got removal orders in the States. It's not pretty. It's not pretty. He'll tell you the truth. You don't want that. You don't want asylum. Asylum is not the answer for most people. South Africans, the golden ticket that you've been handed, this refugee program, is your only option unless you want to pay tens of thousands of dollars to apply to be a legal immigrant to America. You can do that. That's your prerogative. Or apply to the visa lottery program when it comes up and maybe get lucky and be one of the 30 or 50,000 people's names around the world who are pulled out of that hat. But the only thing you've got coming to you is the refugee program, which is not promulgated yet. So that's all I can tell you on that, Nikita. I hope that helps. Hello from Centurion, Joey Mattison. Thank you for your blessings. Corporates, I knew what happens in practice. Practice Indians are a huge part of the management structures. Okay, Aubrey Johnson, Jordan, fine. You have all the answers. You've worked in every place in South Africa. You know that no Indians are discriminated against and no colors are discriminated against. Okay, I'll take your word for it. I guess all the people I've met who've been screwed have just been lying to me. That's possible. It's possible. I mean, I've only traveled to 9 provinces. I'm sure lots of people are lying to me. You have warm jackets. Willem Duckett, it's the cold doesn't faze me. I lived down here before and it doesn't faze me. I'll put a hoodie on and that'll cover it. If you give me your opinion on the Pete Hegseth second round of leaks, I have not given my opinion on that, Jay, yet. Okay. Zelensky wants to buy nuclear weapons. I want to talk about a few other things tonight, and the light's going to change because I'm bringing up a screen. I have just one screen to work with here. Sorry. Heinrich Johannes Swanepoel, Tom Petty, refugee. All right. So there we go. I think we caught up now. Okay, so good. What else? Yeah, has been screwed since 1994. Saw it all growing up in the Cape. Yep, Patrick, 100%. Please advise if 30th is still on. The 30th, Liz, you talking about Tiger's Milk in Durban? Yes, that's on. That's on 4 o'clock for that one. This morning, the main news channels reported that the first 30 asylum claims have been approved. Well, first off, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. What media channels reported that, Alexander? There are no asylum claims approved. And it's not asylum. This is lazy people. Lazy people. I get attacked by scumbags accusing me of pressing propaganda because various sources contacted me and informed me, and I wrote a video purporting that something may be happening. And so I get attacked by people. That's not even analysis. Asylum? That's juvenile. That's not directed at the person posting. It's directed at whatever journalist and news organization made a claim. There's no asylum. Stop with the horse shit. There's no fucking asylum. It's a refugee program. And you're not even refugees legally. You don't meet the definition of refugees that's internationally accepted or under U.S. law. However, you're being granted refugee status in a unique, unusual, but not unprecedented in-country refugee status program, like we did in Cuba, like we did in Bosnia and Herzegovina and a handful of other countries. It's not that. Guys, this is not hard. I've only talked about this a million times. So, Alexander, that's BS. They're lazy journalists. Just like the lazy journalists from Reuters I read said, 76% of the land is in the hands of whites' private land. That's bullshit. That's a total lie. The only data on land in South Africa comes from the 2017 land audit conducted by the government itself. And in that audit, 93 million hectares of private land, 36 million of which were considered agricultural holdings. Of that, 72% was purportedly owned by white South Africans in 2017. Well, that 72% is of farmland, agricultural land, but not of private land, which is what they lied. So if Reuters can't get a simple fact like that correct because they're too fucking lazy to read the agricultural or to read the audit, then why would you trust them? Especially when I've rubbished that claim over and over and over again. It's very easy to find out the truth. They don't want the truth. They want to lie to you. They want to mislead you. 4 authors to write that report, which is total propaganda. You don't have to believe me. Read the 2017 land audit and see if I'm wrong. Go ahead. I encourage you. I show you the receipts. Unless, of course, I'm unable to because of a source. Anyway, but that source is open source. It's available. It's not a state secret. But lazy journalists are too lazy to look up the facts. Instead, they want to mislead you. That's the only conclusion I come to. They want to intentionally mislead you. SA Bikes and Cars says South African special. I'm kind of so glad that people outside South can see the crap that's going on here. Yep, you're welcome. Please tell us who is threatening you. This is not on. They must be exposed. Ernst Cuthbert, it's not necessary. It's come from a few places, including a very influential and powerful person, and I'm not going to disclose that at the moment. But the people are on notice. I will lodge a complaint with law enforcement if it continues. And that's the end of that. So, regards from Clarkstorp, okay. Prawn. Well, that's not funny. Yeah, my complexion has become pink because of Roche, because I was forced to wear a mask doing consulting, and it harmed my face. Bolito, do you still need? Yeah, I do need recommendations, Jason Sten, on Bolito. Thank you. A good place to have a meet and greet. Exactly, Charles. There hasn't been a land audit since 2017 because they know that if they did another land audit, they would find that white South Africans own demonstrably less agricultural holdings than they held in 2017. Demonstrably less. And therefore, there's membership. Thank you for that, Sonia Gare. Demonstrably less. But no one will do the land survey because they like to use that figure. And then the media falsely reported. South African whites, 8% of the population, own 72% of the land. Wrong. White South Africans, a total of 95,000 out of 4.8 million white South Africans owned 72% of agricultural holdings in 2017, which is just 23% of private land, 21% of the total land surface, or 29% of, anyway, it's something like that. But it's far less than they make it out to be. Hey, Sandy? Can you go with me? You can't go with me. Sorry about that. Okay, my chat is locked up here. 500 people here. Thanks for joining us, folks. It is Friday evening. Friday night just got paid. All right, let's move on from Mr. Steenhuisen there to Ronnie Lamola. He reaffirmed South Africa's diplomatic role in the Russia-Ukraine conflict. Ronnie Lamola, the Minister of International Relations and Cooperation, Ronald Lamola, has emphasized South Africa's continued diplomatic engagement in efforts to resolve the Russian-Ukraine conflict, reaffirmed the country's position as a mediator in global peace process. What exactly has South Africa done in this conflict resolution? Please, Ronnie, inquiring minds want to know. Tell us. We're very curious. Very curious. Arctic has been a member for 45 months. Amex Platinum. Wow, I don't have an Amex Platinum. My chat is not refreshing here. Anyway, so it's hung up. So I'll have to go over to the browser and see what's going on with the chat there. Okay, there we go. All right. Liddy says, I just want to thank you for this amazing community. It makes my heart so happy to have found a place that people understand. Well, that's cool. I'm glad you're here. Whole world is just usage items in the Netherlands. Okay, I didn't know that. They must rather check who lost property and who gained property. Exactly, Anton. They also don't want us to lose us. Exactly. You need to pin a message to your chats directing these people to refugee videos. Rakes, I cannot do that. I'm on the road. I don't have it. My moderators have the information. I have made that available 1,000 times. We have posted it in videos for months. I guess new people are coming to the channel. You need to go to my Substack page, which Substack. Let me see if I can get to that. I'll do that now. But thank you for the recommendation. But I mean, I can't do this every darn time. It doesn't pin. You have to add it every time. Substack. All right, Substack to my newsletter. Let me go to that. Fortunately, that's not the page. I want to view the site. That's one. There we go. Indaba Africa's Substack.com, and it's all there. I updated it yesterday with another video, and I'll update it again tonight after I put this other video on that I'm working on now. Okay, now my chat wants to work. There we go. Okay. So there's the Substack. Okay. And I recommend you go to the Substack and subscribe to my Substack. You can also read my articles there for free. Unlike most creators in Substack, I do not charge for my articles, just like I don't charge for my public presentations. So you shouldn't have to pay to come see me. Maybe one day, but certainly not now. All right, so where were we at? Ronnie Lamola says that South Africa is involved in the Ukraine and resolving it. Well, I'm curious, what has he done? He confirmed that Putin has expressed a readiness to engage diplomatically. He said he's indicated he's willing to allow an engagement. There's a diplomatic track that's now in motion. He said, adding that the U.S. Special Envoy Nkebisi Jonas is currently in Moscow to advance the dialogue. Why is Nkebisi Jonas in Moscow? What is that about? Anybody aware of that? What's that all about? That's fascinating. That's fascinating. This thing's still not moving. Okay, so I have to skip out of there and come over here to this. Okay. Need to stay as a country far away from the current. Okay. Gordon von Rensburg is here. All the answers you need are there to do the homework. Yeah, exactly. It's all there. Go to Substack. Heinrich Schoenfeld just gifted 20 memberships. Ouch. That's going to be a lot of ringing here. So let me just put a stop to that very quickly. The alert box is off now because that's a lot of, but thank you all for becoming members. Debbie Fox gave 140 Rand super chat. Thank you for that, Debbie. Good evening to you. And Josa Fundamab, my favorite news channel, CCW. NBN, Colonel Chris Wyatt. Bullshit is. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Well, not everybody likes that. Some people like the bullshit. Back just finished making my family some steak, 8 chips with cheese, mushroom sauce. Yum, yum. Oh, yuck, yuck. Darko and Ron Posen needs to stay out of that war. Exactly. They should focus on the relationship with the United States and quit worrying about Ukraine. Thought Jonas was meant to go to the USA. So did I, Inkwell Odyssey. Hence my question. William Wheeler just became a platoon leader. Wow, that's a high level, and that brings a little coin into the channel. Thank you so much for that, William. Come on, come up on the screen. Oh, I turned it off. So here's a salute for you, William. Okay, thank you so much for becoming a member. I do appreciate it. Thanks to 555 people currently here, but some of you are sleeping on the job, just 340 likes. What's that all about? Let's fix that rapidly. Zelensky's gravy train is derailed. That's the problem. So he's looking for more money, but he's not going to find it in South Africa, folks. He's not going to find it. By the way, I did a video in response to that Reuters article. That'll be published a little bit later on. Okay, so where was I at here? Okay, there we go. Back to the, boy, this thing is really acting up. I don't know why. Anyway, but I'm still broadcasting, so that's the bottom line. Okay. So what I want to talk about now, folks, is the News 24 has published, it was published at 5:07, so a little over an hour ago. This is a fascinating study done by Ipsos. And it says South Africa speaks. Less than half of South Africans think government should keep black economic empowerment going. 11 out of every 25 South Africans, less than half the population, believe the government should keep BEE going. 9 out of every 25, or over a third of the population, believe the government should end all BEE policies, while 5 in every 25 don't know what government should do with the controversial legislation aimed at redressing historical economic inequality created by apartheid. Of course, that's not what the purpose of BEE is. The purpose of BEE is to enrich a coterie of select cadres, not to spread the wealth to black South Africans. Now, this is a large-scale Ipsos survey commissioned by News 24, which gauges South Africans' views on BEE and other crucial issues. So pretty amazing stuff. The sample was 3,600 people. Is BEE still working? South Africans are split as redress policies face new pressure. So Carol Patton does an article that says, what if 20 years of BEE brought us? Misery, poverty, and a rich coterie of connected nobodies. Now, that's not what she says, but that's what I'm telling you. So the poll came from Ipsos. Yep. So let's get to some of these things. Less than half of South Africans think government should keep BEE going. Now, the Ipsos survey, 36% said end BEE, 44% said keep forcing it, and 20% said they don't know. Looking at race of respondents, 46% of black South Africans think BEE should continue, and 32% believe it should end. Who was it that told me black South Africans will always vote for the ANC and always vote for and always be in favor of BEE? Well, clearly that's not true. 1/3 of black South Africans polled said BEE should end. 22% are unsure. So, folks, you could have majority of South Africans who are black who are against BEE. How's that? Now, core results simply are that 36% of South Africans say these policies should end now, while 44% say the government should continue some form of BEE, and 20% say they just don't know. All right. So, by race, continue BEE, by race, black, white, colored, Indian. Okay. So, 46% of black South Africans said continue BEE. 36% of whites said continue. That is shocking. I find that hard to believe. 36% of white South Africans say they should continue BEE. That's all the certain Van Wyk crowd. 37% of colored said it should continue, and 25% of Asians said it continue. Far fewer Asians want BEE to continue than white South Africans. Now, those who said BEE should end it's nearly a majority. It's a plurality in all but one case and a majority in 2 cases. So black South Africans, 32% said NBE. White South Africans, 57% said NBE. Colors, 47% said end it, vice the 37% said continue it. And Asians, 56% of Asians said end it, 25% said keep it. So those who don't know, blacks 22, whites 8%, colors 17%, and Asians, Indians 19%. So, this nonsense about this will continue forever. Erica said, I'm looking for a lift back home. Oh, okay. Okay, can somebody give Erica a lift? How do I become a member and make a donation? Well, Simone, man, there's a button at the bottom. You can, or on the channel says become a member. You can also super chat at the bottom to make a donation if you like. Alternatively, you can send something through PayPal if you like. Let me get to the other things. So let's see if we got the PayPal thing here. Videos to show. Where's the PayPal at? Oh, actually, I took the PayPal out of there. It's by itself. Let's see if it shows up here. There it is. So if you want to PayPal me, there you go. If you want to send PayPal and help donate the channel, do appreciate it. That's how you do it right there. Since the question was asked, I don't usually show that unless someone asks. What is this? Why also something hasn't happened? Okay, the chat just jumped on me. Whoa, that's crazy. All right, so let me go back over here in this one where it's still working. Yes, Chris Ayler, South Africa should focus on what's going on here, not on what's happening in Ukraine. We made panacock and cinnamon sugar for supper. They truly believe the BRICS is the solution. It's not. Please do an episode on Johanna Brandt prophecies. Okay. Johanna Brandt. I'll have to look into that for doing a segment. Right now I'm focused on a few other things. So what else we got here? Good evening, Mark van der Linde, Leslie Ann Moon. Jason Stanford Bolito tried Flama Grill. Karibo on the market. Okay, let me put that down here. All right, I'll have to look at this when I'm off air later tonight. Saving the notes here. All right, there you go. Thank you for that, Jason. Okay. What else? Martin is back, and then Denzel, Gerard Benenica, excuse me. Val Cooper, there's an OG. How you doing, Val? 100% of Southern taxpayers believe taxes should be drastically lowered. I don't doubt that. Okay, Irene Berger. Mario Boikus, before the chat channel starts, everyone must first read the chat program so that they're aware of all the answers you already posted. No one asked my family, so where do we get their numbers? I have no idea. What are you talking about here? All right, Erica, thank you for the super chat. Milan gave 140 Rand super chat. Thank you so much for that. Those, okay. Just joined while having lunch. Okay, Wicked, thank you for joining for now. Lynn G. Harris, how big was the sample for those? 3,600. 3,600 people were in that survey. 3,600. That's a big survey. That's a big one. There's got to be some validity to that bad boy. So, well, the floods. Oh, in KZN, now here, there's floods down there. That's not good. All right, so that's that. So go back to the story here. So that's pretty interesting. Now let's go by party lines. This is ANC, EFF, DA, Freedom Front Plus, IFP, Action SA, and MK. All right, continue BE. 52% of ANC say continue it. Not a surprise. 54% of EFF, not a surprise. But 36% of the Democratic Alliance members who were polled said keep BE. You see the problem here? 40% of Freedom Front Plus said continue BE. That doesn't make any sense to me. I'm shocked to hear that. 40% of Freedom Front Plus supporters who were polled in this survey said keep BE. Only 21% of IFP. That's the best result. 36% of Action SA doesn't surprise me. Lots of bum hurt DA people there. And 38% of MK, which kind of surprises me. Wow. Interesting. Only 2 groups said end it in a majority. That was Freedom Front Plus at 60% and the IFP at 59%. That's crazy. I wonder if the numbers of those parties were actually too small for representative sample. Yeah. This is crazy stuff. So, is BE outdated and divisive? Now, this is interesting. ANC, 36% say it's outdated. 44% of EFF say it's outdated. 53% of the DA say it's outdated. 64% of the Freedom Front Plus say. 37% of the IFP. 53% of Action SA and 34% of NK. Given that's completely opposite of what we just saw for a similar question, I think people are confused. Maybe I'm confused at what I'm reading. Anyway, that's what's going on there. So, the biggest challenge in South Africa, according to the survey, It's not land. We know that. We've said that forever. It's not about land. It's about job creation. More than 1 in 5 South Africans believe that the combination of reducing unemployment and creating jobs is the most important problem that South African government should prioritize at a national level. Yep. Bringing down crime and violence. South Africa's most important challenge is reduce crime, stop corruption, bring down crime and violence, build more houses, address the cost of living, improve education, promote access to land, 4.7%. That's it. 21% say reduce unemployment. That's the top issue here. Not a surprise at all. Yeah. So, tenders. South Africans pick delivery over BEE. Wow. Wow. Frustrated by years of corruption and failed projects? 2 out of every 3 South Africans now say tenders should go to companies that can deliver irrespective of whether they tick ownership boxes. 67% of South Africans say that the ownership of a company tendering for a project does not matter. Wow. What matters is whether they do the job effectively and within budget. 67%. That is an astounding number. You never get poll results like that. That's crazy. Well done. So, South Africans prefer government without an ANC majority, according to this poll. Yep. 51% of South Africans agreed the GNU is actually working well and that it was better than an ANC majority government. 54% of ANC respondents said that they believe that the GNU is better than the ANC leading itself. 49% of the EFF said that. The DA 57%, Freedom Front Plus 44, IFP 34, Action SA 60, and MK 38%. 38% of MK think that it's better than the ANC leading. Every single one of those political parties, a higher percentage believe the GNU is working than do not believe it's working. That's a shocking outcome there. Too many people are appointed to positions because they belong to a certain political party. 66% of 3,600 respondents said that too many people are appointed because of their political connections, not because they're qualified. Well, there is a good look. South Africans are not stupid. Black, white, and brown, they're not stupid. They are seeing what's going on here, and they are speaking out. Francois says BS on the poll. Really? Okay. All right. Why do you say that? See the International Organization Migration Decline Assist. No, I didn't see that. Hang on a second here. Where did you see that? International Organization Migration. Where did you see that? I'm looking under news. I see nothing here. No news reporting. Where did you see that at? Doesn't mean it's not true. Just saying I don't see the news. I don't see it here anywhere. So where did you find that at? Yeah, it sounds like Ipsos must be drunk, says Michael. Neighbor listening live for the first time. Land expropriate without a compensation he would like to explain to you. He's welcome to explain to me, but I don't need someone to explain to me. I know how land is expropriated without compensation. I know how land is stolen. I know how it happens. I've been covering this for 25, 30 years. But I'm happy to talk to him, Jason. Send me an email. And I'll be happy to talk to him. Yep. Wondering whether anyone has reliable information regarding out-of-court settlement. No, I don't know. We heard Helen Zilla, the federal chair for the Democratic Alliance, announce this to great fanfare. The DA's taking a lot of credit for it. They took a victory lap, and I think a lot of other folks are not happy with that. I know a lot of the folks are not happy with it. Let me see if I got a response on that. I wrote to someone connected earlier today. Let me see if I got a response on that. Doesn't look like I did. Oh, I did. Oh, okay. Let me see what this says. Decision.
Support the proposed 0.5% flat tax. Instead, the UDM supported the 2025.
Oh, you guys can't hear that. Okay, sorry about that. For some reason, it doesn't pick up video. My apologies. That was a video. I'll use that. I'll make a video about the UDM. Sorry. Okay, thank you for telling me you can't hear it. It's weird with this laptop microphone. It cancels things out, apparently. So, all right. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? All right, let's try it. Language barrier. All right. Okay. Thank you, Dirk. So let me go back and see that myself. Yeah. For some reason that cancels out. So that's the second time we discovered that. I don't know what the deal is here. Okay. I also sound like I'm in a barrel here. Yeah. All right. Thank you, guys. Sorry, what I'll do is I'll take that video if I'm not tired and knackered tonight. I'll use that to make another video and talk about this. Yeah. So that was the UDM. I'd written to Major General Bantu Holomisa saying that, a lot of people were upset with the DA taking victory lap. Well, the UDM is one of those parties. Now, I made a video congratulating the DA on this because the way Helen Zilla explained it looked like their court case actually played a role. Oh, if it's too close. Thank you for that, Amazing. Well, let me try it from back here. Let me see if you can hear it back here. All right, let me try it back here and see what happens.
Bold step after careful and long.
Okay, well, I think it just doesn't pick up. All right, as a colored, I was acting in a position for 2 years when they advertised position. They gave a position to black guy. Thank you very much, Charlie. You just confirmed what I've been telling people for ages. This nonsense that only white South Africans are the victims of racial oppression is nonsense. And I'm sick of people making that claim. I know coloreds and I know Indians who've also suffered. I even know some blacks who've been discriminated against. I turned it sideways. That's not going to help. That's not going to help. The fact that our politicians now no different from clowns all around is just cock, says Art. Kevin, you can't put a link up there because you're not a moderator. YouTube doesn't allow that. There's no such term as expropriation without compensation. In fact, there is, Alexander. You're mistaken. The act is called expropriation without compensation. So anyway, it's colored. I was acting. Yeah. So Charlie, thank you for sharing that. Chris Wyatt, welcome to you. Rentia Shepard-Kruger, welcome back. Anyway, sorry about that, folks. That's my Indian neighbor's daughter cannot get into nursing college due to BE. Thank you very much for that virtual Western Cape. Another example of it. Anyway, so. Oh, Elmarie Puth, you liked the interview with Pumlani Majosi? Yeah, it was nice. Okay. Okay. Is Barbie here? I didn't see Barbie. Welcome, Barbie. Okay, let me get back to the news here, folks. A few more things to cover. We covered the terrorism. I've been to the US Embassy website. There's no update on the refugee program. There isn't. I've covered this story about Reuters, and I will put that into my video, which I'm editing now. So I actually need a screen capture for that. I just realized that. A Reuters story. And yeah, so Katya Beaton was interviewed in that. Probably have her on the channel sometime soon. All right. So, all right. Got that taken care of. All right. There's some news out of the States here we need to talk about as well. Let me get to that. So first off, we've got the Trump administration has arrested the FBI, a Wisconsin judge in an immigration dispute. FBI agents arrested a county judge in Milwaukee, accusing her of shielding an immigrant from federal authorities. Spokesman for the U.S. Marshals confirmed that the judge, Hannah Dugan, had been arrested. Major escalation of the Trump administration's fight with local officials over deportation. If you are a law enforcement official, a court official, a state government, a local government official, and you commit crimes against the United States, you will be arrested. You are not protected. You have no qualified immunity for violating the laws of the United States. You will be disbarred and removed from the bench, most likely for this judge. FBI agents arrested a county judge in Milwaukee today on charges of obstructing immigration agents by steering an undocumented immigrant through a side door in her courtroom while the agents waited in a public hallway to apprehend him. The arrest of a sitting state court judge is a major escalation, and it's long overdue. Long overdue. These people are facilitating the criminal alien invasion of this country, and this person never should have been entrusted as a judge. Administration has demanded, under threat of investigation, prosecution, local officials assist federal efforts to deport millions of criminal alien invaders. Charging documents describe a confrontation last Friday at Judge Dugan's courthouse in which federal agents say she was visibly upset and had a confrontational, angry demeanor when a group of immigration, drug enforcement agency, and FBI agents came to arrest Eduardo Flores Ruiz, a citizen of Mexico who was in her courtroom to face misdemeanor criminal charges. According to the criminal complaint, the judge confronted the agents and told them to go talk to the chief judge of the courthouse. Then she returned to her courtroom. Despite having been advised of the administrative warrant for the arrest of Flores Ruiz, Judge Dugan then escorted Flores Ruiz and his counsel out of the courtroom through a jury door, which leads to a non-public area of the courthouse, said the complaint. The judge was charged with obstructing and proceeding with a federal agency and concealing an individual to prevent his discovery and arrest. After a brief appearance as a defendant in the federal court in Milwaukee, about a mile from her own courthouse, the judge was released on her own recognizance. No, she should be in prison or she should pay a massive bail for facilitating the criminal alien invasion of America. The FBI arrested Judge Dugan on suspicion of intentionally misdirecting federal agents, according to FBI Director Kash Patel. Charges were unsealed. Christopher Wellborn, president of the National Association of Criminal Defense Lawyers, reacted with alarm to the judge's arrest, saying American democracy rests upon the independence of the judiciary. The judiciary is not allowed to commit criminal offenses to aid and facilitate criminal alien fugitives. That's not independence of the judiciary. That's a criminal act. Judges are not exempt from the law, so shut up, Christopher Wellborn. Retaliatory action from the executive branch that appears to undermine this foundation demands our unwavering scrutiny and resounding response. Christopher Wellborn, we demand you shut your mouth and sit down and be quiet because you are a criminal facilitator. The Chief Judge of Milwaukee County, Carl Ashley, said that Judge Dugan's caseload will be handled by another jurist in the courtroom and declined to comment further. Yeah, she can't serve. Yep. So there you go, folks. There you go. Judges worry Trump could tell U.S. Marshals to stop protecting them. Really? Well, if you commit criminal offenses, that's what happens. That's what happens. What's going on here? Why am I? Okay. There we go. Federal agents arrest judge accused of helping man evade immigration enforcement. Judge Hannah Dugan arrested. Yep. Good. Russian general was killed in an explosion. Wow. Hours after President Trump publicly appealed to President Vladimir Putin to stop striking Ukraine, a Russian drone slammed into an apartment building in the Ukrainian city of Pavlograd, killing 3 people, including a child. Then, as Trump's chief negotiator, Steve Witkoff, landed in Moscow on Friday for further talks with Putin, a Russian general was killed in an explosion that Russia's foreign ministry spokeswoman said bore the hallmarks of Ukrainian security services. Yeah, the Russians and Ukrainians don't want peace, ladies and gentlemen. They do not want peace. There are not enough Ukrainians and Russians that can die for Volodymyr Zelensky and for Vladimir Putin. These are shameful human beings, repulsive. Polygraph threats, leaks, and infighting. Chaos inside Pete Hegseth's Pentagon. Defense Secretary has chastised top military officers and staffers as he seeks to quiet a storm that he helped create, according to the Wall Street Journal. And another article that took half a dozen people to write. Nancy Youssef, Alexander Ward, and Vera Bergengroen. Well, that's a mouthful. Yep. Word leaked that he was planning a classified briefing for Elon Musk in China, a revelation that infuriated President Trump and raised alarms inside the Pentagon, given Musk's business ties to Beijing. I'll hook you up to an effing polygraph, Hegseth shouted at Admiral Christopher Grady, and then acting chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, according to 2 people familiar with the exchange. Hegseth demanded proof that Grady hadn't leaked news in the briefing. Wow. The episode marked a turning point in the already rocky tenure, coming just days after revelations the former Fox News host had shared sensitive military information in an unsecured group on Signal. Problems snowballed from there. At least 5 political appointees have been fired or resigned. And Hegseth has said he's referring some of the aides for criminal investigation. Meanwhile, he's under investigation by the Pentagon's Inspector General for alleged mishandling classified information. Things aren't going well for Pete Hegseth, folks. Things are not going well. Joe Casper left voluntarily. That's his chief of staff. Wow. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, chief of staff, departed his post Thursday. He said the latest twist in an extended period of turmoil at the Pentagon has included infighting amongst his advisors and the firing of at least 3 political appointees and deepening scrutiny of the Secretary's stewardship of the government's largest agency. Joe Casper, the departing chief of staff, leaves the role voluntarily and become a part-time special government employee with a focus on science and technology industry. Okay, that's interesting. But wow, look at that, folks. Lots of turmoil in Pete Hegseth's Department of Defense. Wondering whether anyone has reliable information regarding the out-of-court settlement. No, okay, we don't know. Okay, can we trust polls run and reported by the same people that say the land grabs? Yeah, it's a good question. Russell, okay. Holy crap, got a canoe. What's this? Greetings, Estelle. Welcome to you. I believe the series Suits was produced by real lawyers. I have no idea. I didn't find it all interesting. I tried to watch it. It was boring. I'd like to know who's setting Pete Hegseth up for a fall. Well, I think Pete Hegseth is setting Pete Hegseth up for a fall. I think that's what's happening. The VAT increase is a sideshow. I think distraction. We need to fix our relationship with USA. Well, I believe you do need to fix the relationship with USA. I'm trying to help best I can. Please do an episode with U.S. farmers around the refugee. What do you mean with U.S. farmers? I don't know any U.S. farmers that are hiring any refugees. I don't know what you're talking about. Tanya de Jong, welcome to you. Gaddafi ideology, okay? They won't be because they can't build, okay? All right, looks like laptop camera is fine now, okay? Good, Arno, thanks. What does Light Rain say? Is it Light Rain here? Welcome, Light Rain. Elmarie Puth, welcome to you. Oh, there's apologize to cover this, but India ordered all Pakistanis out of their country and demolishing mosques. Oh, wow. Wow, I didn't see that. That's huge. That's going to be a lot of problem. Wow, sounds like a typical case of rules for thee, but not for me. Yep. What did Steve say? People are saying Steve. Who's Steve? What's Steve? Oh. Offered a date to do long arm dancing tonight with my 2 left feet. What the heck are you talking about? Andre, welcome to you. All right, folks, there you go. There you go. Even when we fix that relationship, China will eat us from within. Chris Yuan, I've talked about the refugee program several times in this broadcast. I thought you were here earlier. We talked about it. There is no update, and I have a video which will be released as soon as I get off here and finish editing it. And that's in response to the Reuters article that appeared yesterday claiming 30 people have already been approved for the refugee program, which is interesting since there is no refugee program. How do you approve people for something that doesn't exist? Alexander was trying to make a point that it should be really called confiscation. Yeah, I got you. Okay. I wasn't sure if you were being serious or not. EFF wants to put a reputation on to have a apartheid tax. Really? All right, Chris Juan, sorry, you just arrived. I thought you were here earlier. That must have been another Chris Juan, or maybe I was reading an email or something like that. Looking forward to Thundergun. Well, Steve, that's awesome. So am I. I need to get that set up soon. So, all right. I think we're caught up on the chat here. And let's see if I have any other news here. Pete Hegseth, we got that. Okay. FBI, we got that. The judge being arrested. Russia, the general killed. What else we got here? Another article on Pete Hegseth. So, let me explain something to you folks about the media, okay? Not that this will be news to some people. So you wonder why narratives run the way they say, okay? So the Washington Post, former Congressman George Santos sentenced to 7 years in prison, pleading guilty to financial misconduct. Wow, that's a Republican. The Republicans booted out. So the Washington Post on the banner says, most Americans disapprove of Trump on tariffs, okay? And then if you look at the opinions, Fareed Zakaria, Trump is destroying 100 years of competitive advantage in 100 days. Fareed Zakaria is full crap. Lee Hochstadter values free bullying in Ukraine masquerades as peace talks. Karen Tumulty, one-time migrant, now bishop, asked Catholics, do we have a heart? George Will, Supreme Court case could stall the charter school movement. Dana Milbank, for the Trump administration, is amateur hour. Not a single op-ed on the Washington Compost is remotely balanced. It's all leftist drivel. Every single thing here. Every single article is leftist drivel. Now, they claim they've got something live in the Trump presidency. Is this what's going on? Trump heading to Rome to join dozens of world leaders for Pope Francis' funeral. I thought he wasn't going to go. The media said he wasn't going to go. Now he's going. He's heading to Rome today to attend the funeral of Pope Francis. Well, it must be over now. Pope, when is the funeral? Is it today or tomorrow? China quietly exempts some U.S.-made semiconductors from tariffs. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? China has relented, but we don't see any China choked. China backed down. China gave in. China surrendered. China has quietly exempted tariffs from some semiconductors made in the United States in an attempt to protect its leading technology companies from a bitter trade showdown with President Trump. Levies on at least 8 classifications of U.S.-made microchips have been dropped to 0. Instead of the 125% retaliatory tariff Beijing has imposed. So look at that. Look at that. The Chinese choked, but no media companies reporting that. Democratic senators criticize the arrest of judge. Of course they do, because they're anti-rule of law. Tammy Baldwin, Demon Rat, Wisconsin, said she warned the rest of Milwaukee County Circuit Judge Hannah Dugan threaten the constitutional separation of powers. It does not. It does not. The woman is a criminal. She facilitated the criminal invasion of this country and evasion from the rule of law. So she will be arrested. Judges cannot act with impunity. When they commit a crime, they get arrested. Former Congressman George Santos is sentenced to more than 7 years in prison. Former U.S. Representative George Santos pled guilty last year to federal charges of aggravated identity theft and wire fraud. Wow. So it turns out he was guilty. Disgraced former congressman expelled from the House after being accused of financial misconduct and telling myriad lies about his background was sentenced to 87 months in prison. So he went to prison for lying about his background? That can't be true. That's got to be nonsense. He's also ordered to pay $370,000 restitution to victims and forfeit another $200,000. Wow. The sentencing on Friday kept an astonishing rise and fall for Santos, a Republican elected to Congress in 2022 to represent a district in New York, and ousted from the body the following year. News reports scrutinizing the Republican lawmaker laid bare an extraordinary trail of lies on topics including his schooling, his resume, family history, employment record, and connection to tragedies, among others. Wow. The Republicans took an extremely rare step of expelling Santos after an ethics committee report accusing him of stealing money from his campaign and deceiving donors about how their contributions would be used. So last year he pled guilty to federal charges of aggravated identity theft and wire fraud, admitted to defrauding campaign donors. Folks, that's why I took no donations. I took no donations when I ran for office. I refused donations. No one can accuse me of misusing people's money. I use my own money, and I sacrificed my own life savings to run for office so they can pound sand. Yep. All right, what else we got here? China isn't going to revolt. Military is too big. That's true. The article in Reuters said that the IOM declaring U.S. request to assist. Okay, hang on. I didn't see that. Let me see if I can find that in a page. Find in page. IOM. Okay. The IOM does not commented. Okay, so that's interesting. The International Organization for Migration that helps people displaced by conflict, national other ministers declined the U.S. administration request to assist in resettling Afrikaners. Huh. Okay, well, I didn't see that in the story. Thank you for sharing that. That's where it came from, the Reuters story. I missed that. Somehow I missed over that. All right, well, if they do that, then their legitimacy will be invalid, and they will find themselves under scrutiny from the United States. Right, okay. Yep. Truth Social Media that he was going to Rome. Not on Truth Social. I didn't see that. We have no idea what the fallout will be or what will happen to people, says Gerard. Okay. Professor G mentioned in his latest video that if Trump and the Sierra reach an agreement on the state of Southern Refugee program, could be in trouble. Well, anything's possible, Herman Lowe. Anything's possible. But I mean, as Arctic said earlier, I think the chances of refugee program going away are zero. Anything's possible. But the problem is that Cyril can say whatever he wants. It doesn't change things. Doesn't change reality. And John Steenhuisen can say whatever he wants and tell people there's no genocide. Well, there is no genocide. No one's claiming it except you clowns. You can tell people there are no mass expropriations of land. That's true. There are no mass expropriations. That isn't the point. You're giving government the power to take people's land and property at a whim. And it's not just the national government, the provincial government, and the local government can take your property, can take your land at their own whim and discussion. So it really isn't germane that John Steenhuisen tells people that there are no mass land grabs. It's not about mass land grabs. I'm sick of politicians lying like this. Well, you're just a little fat. No, you're fat. It's just a little cancer. No, it's cancer. Well, there is no land confiscation. There is land confiscation. Not by government authorities yet. But didn't Cyril Ramaphosa recently go to Joburg and say that we need to expropriate abandoned buildings in Joburg? Of course, many of these buildings aren't abandoned. The police haven't evicted the squatters, and people spent hundreds of thousands of rand trying to get them out of there. And now they're going to confiscate it, claiming they've been abandoned. Spare me. Spare me. So, that's like being, well, you're just a little pregnant. No, you're either pregnant or you're not pregnant. Either you have a law that allows people to expropriate property, or you don't have a law that allows them to expropriate property. There is no halfway between. Comedian on Normal World says he lost a lot of military work due to Doge. Okay, I don't know what we're talking about there. That's my take on it, Herman. To make a pretty good comedy skit about Fitzgerald and Trump call. Yeah, no doubt. everybody. Ludwig just stopped on the farm, missed a bit. Oh, good to see you there, Ludwig. Welcome in. 20 is already earmarked 31 buildings. There you go. See, I didn't know that, Heinrich. That's interesting. Pulling how long it will last before President Trump calls this BS. Yes, all the squatter camps and the informal settlements are built and stolen. That's correct. Wild Bear Prepper, good evening to you. Good evening. The refugee program in U.S. is a failure. Okay, whatever. You know, I tell you, people's impatience is really test other people's patience. Just have to chill, folks. Have to chill. What is this point of having a massive army is not only to piss the United States coffee. Daniel says, what these politicians don't admit, everything starts small and this expropriation snowball will become bigger and closer. The next big thing, you're out of your house. Exactly. Hey, Guardian Prepping. Wow, been a while, man. How you doing? Corey, welcome to you. Corey, I passed your information on to Ronell. Okay. Sorry I'm late. Traffic was, no, Francois, I get you. Traffic was hectic wherever you're at. It was hectic here. I managed to avoid it by timing things well. Okay. And now, Maurice, I'm not talking about you. There are people early in the chat who are very impatient. The Trump meeting will be televised. Wouldn't that be something? Sent you articles on, what's this? Expropriation. Thank you, Chris. Topi's back. Virginia Martins, welcome to you. Calm your farm, folks. Nicolette keeps missing the lives. I'm sorry to hear that. It's easy. Department of Labor and Employment makes sure that no white man gets a job. So in essence, the breadwinner cannot provide for his family. You forfeit your property. And they're raising taxes and rates on people, claiming you owe tax for a value that they've applied, which is unrealistic. Arctic says sunscreen money. What, for me? Because I'm pink? It's nothing to do with the sun. It has to do with my rosacea. Okay, and Tony Duvall, welcome to you. All right, let me check on something here very quick, folks. How are we doing? Boy, I tell you, subscribers really slow down in South Africa. It's not going well from a subscriber standpoint. Yep. So, hang on a second here. Let's go to YouTube. See if he's live now. Come on, YouTube. This is really slow. What's going on? Okay. Trump is gagging on Air Force One. What's this about? Let's take a look at that. Is this live? It's from the White House. Nothing happening. That's on Air Force One. Nothing happening. So we'll skip that. Nothing happening there. That's funny. 800 people watching. Nothing happening over on that channel. All right. Have we gone on a little trip in a rocket ship yet? Nope. Jacqueline, one of my soldiers fallen. It's personal, so I'm packing and traveling. My apologies. Oh, I'm sorry to hear about that. All right. Go take care of him, Garrett. Learn to subsist farm all. Okay. Is that the head behind you? The head? What are you talking about, man? This here? The light. I must have missed something there. Anyway, all right, cool. Good evening to you, Zed Ma Volmerans. Water meter was changed about 6 months ago, and my count still shows the old one. There you go. Is what bill? What are you talking? What bill? What are you asking again? When did you ask the first time? What bill, Mr. Sergeant Duck? Yeah, no, I mean, in Texas, I was a bit more surprised to get more than 44 subscribers, given that apparently just Afrikaners subscribe to my channel. We know there's only 44 Afrikaners, according to Charlize Theron. New subscribers are low because you've been too busy in holiday. Holiday? Are you smoking your socks? From 2 lives and more videos a day to very few. That's nonsense. It's nonsense, Maurice. Okay, let me just cover that very quickly. That's what you're saying? Well, let me just cover this, okay? All right. I got here on the 13th, so the numbers, let's see how the numbers are. Okay, I've done since the 13th when I arrived here. Okay, let's go back. We've covered. Okay, 13 April. Okay, here we go. Okay, 13 April. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. This is my 16th live stream in 12 days. 16 and 12 days. That's 1.25 live streams per day. And videos, how many prepared videos have I done in that time? Okay, let's go back 13 April. 13 April. Well, I've done over 30 videos because that's the whole first page. Okay, 12 April. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've done 35 videos in 12 days, prepared videos, 35 videos. So I don't know what you're talking about, Maurice, that you're going through. My videos aren't at the regular times, but I've done 35 prepared videos, and I've done, what did I just say, 16 live streams in 12 days. I don't know what people are talking about. I realize it's not at 5 a.m. or 5:30 in the morning and at 6 p.m. every day. But yeah. Well, I miss you too, Maurice. My apologies for being, and I appreciate that people are finding it difficult to find the things, but I'm not slacking off here, folks. I'm not slagging off. I'm working my tail off here, and I'm taking a lot of flack for it, including threats coming from some people. So, I'm working my butt off here. So tonight I'm going to go chill and listen to some jazz. Yeah, Diane, I understand, but I can't control the alerts. All I can suggest is you go back and unsubscribe, resubscribe, and then make sure you turn on the alerts. It's a YouTube thing. It affects a lot of people. Leonard Storter, welcome to you. I did not see that PK, the apartment building's collapsing because he used unprocessed sand. Doesn't surprise me. Where was that at? If this program starts, please think of the future of your family and act according to that. It's the only thing you should take into consideration. Rick, hey, you're back. You can easily see which direction the sheepdogs want the sheep to move. By not blocking that specific direction, one could be fooled into thinking it was the will of the sheep. Kathy Price, I have at least 18 videos there. Great. Thank you, Kathy. You're doing what you love and do the best. Well, thank you, Sue. I do lots of things pretty well. I don't know if this is the thing I do the best, but it's very kind of you to say that. Working hard at random times, but still the quality is all there. Thank you, Tomahawk. Some people are just mad to think they need an NFL. Isak van Arda, I've been threatened by several people, including one very powerful person. Thank you, Colonel. All your interest and hard work. You're welcome. Yes, you're right, Wild Bear Prepper. Your settings on your mobile devices does affect. You have to make sure that your phone is authorized to take notifications. Then the app has to be authorized to take notifications. Yeah, laptop works a lot better than the phone. Usually stream from on the go. Okay. How does it feel to drive on the correct side of the road? Well, Relinda, I am happy to drive on the right side of the road each and every day in the United States. I'm very, very pleased. It's normal. It's when I come to a place like South Africa, people drive on the wrong side of the road. I can handle that. Piano, jazz, instrumental can work well now, at least this 2 weeks. Okay. Every step of your journey with you online. Great updates from wonderful. Thank you so much, Anne-Marie Dalton. I'm trying to keep people updated. Everything's going. You're doing a great job. Thank you, Erica. Well done, says Harold. Okay, regarding the EFF says that anyone who has inheritance, I want those people to pay. Well, Amanda Cooper, I get angry too. I want anyone who opens their mouth and says such stupid things to pay for it. Chris does what? Ida Creel, welcome to you. Have a lovely weekend. Hey, someone said they could put me on to Jesse Creel. That would be cool. Interview him. Just remember, you are appreciated. There are a majority of your supporters here and wherever you go. Well, thank you, Steve Newbold. A lot of people do appreciate me. That's why I continue doing this. Look, we don't drive on the left. Your heart's getting lost in the chat. How's that? You're lucky to drive on the left side of the road. Most of the time, you play dodging the potholes. Gideon says, thanks for giving us the right information. Those are threatening doorknobs. Windows 95, that's crazy. Apple's moving to make most iPhones US rather than India. What's about damn time? Don't let threats worry you, have your back. It's the weak that threat. Well, thank you, Isak. I appreciate that. Nurses have dropped their tools. Nurses? Corpses decomposing. That's disgusting. Pass to the left as right is wrong. Honestly, I don't get why people are being stupid. You're doing a fantastic job. Just make sure you drive on the correct side. Well, thank you, Wild Bear Prepper. I do drive on the correct side. After continuously driving down the wrong side of the road, you could become a taxi driver. That's true. I could be a taxi driver. Charlie Gray says, keep it up, bring out the big lie. Trump must impose sanctions. Okay, well, that's not up to me. We'll see. Have you watched Making a Murder? No. I haven't seen that. Napoleon. Okay. Can't wait for you to come in PE. Well, Luis, it won't be long and I'll be in PE. Yeah, I'll be there for a couple days coming up soon. Yeah, so see, Pablo Charlie trying to scare people by saying it'll cost 3 times as much by making the U.S. Well, if that's what it costs, that's what it costs. I won't be in Mossel Bay this time, Isak. Another time. Mossel Bay, George. Yeah, not this time. Nisa. Not this time, though. So, sorry. I didn't know the CBD in Pretoria had sinkholes. Wow. The saying needs equivalent Arizona's stupid motors law, but instead we have a stupid people. What I meant with the poll is that it's conducted in 90% urban areas. The ANC has strong rural following. No, I got you, Francois. I mean, I don't know where the poll is conducted, so again, I don't know the conduct of the poll, but you make a very good point. Nicolette doesn't like Apple. Neither do I. Rich white people toys. Nope. As long as it's not a Teletubby that's threatening. No, Teletubbies aren't bothering me. They're not bothered. It's not the Teletubbies. It's not who you think it is. Tax Association rules published yesterday. Driving drunk, $1,500 fine. Not showing up for meetings, suspended permanently. Coffee with a dash of whiskey, chewing jurors. Well, the potholes is not going to be any better if you drive on the right side of the road. 1.8 billion Chromes being removed from Apple. That's crazy. Arno Val is well, I mean, I guess the Val area, but Vanderbilt Park is where it's going to be. Gideon, I will not be coming to Bloemfontein this trip. Sorry. You're not having me greet my front lawn. Not going to happen. Suzanne Mosley Walker, good evening to you. If Apple made cars, would they have windows? Funny, dad joke. Keep my white privilege Apple products. The only perk I got. Oh, please, Arctic. Give me a break. You flying around, autopilot, drinking Jim Beam. Family in Wisconsin's wrongfully sent to prison first time for 18 years. Then they found the DNA of another guy and found out the police covered up. Yeah, no, it happens. It happens, Napoleon. Yep, I know. Those are heart-wrenching stories. Candace says, thank you for all your videos, information, and time. Extremely appreciated. Patiently waiting for some good news. Colonel, how long will blog break? Well, the blog break thing will be as long as it needs to go tomorrow, Amanda. I am happy to stay as long as possible because the Jazz Festival doesn't start until 4 o'clock. So, I mean, and then I'll be at the Jazz Festival, and then I head over to the stadium, DHL Greenpoint, for the game. Merely dodging the potholes. And thank you for the super chat there. Vlam USA 140 Rand super chat. Thank you for that. I am in Vanderbilt Park. Can't wait, to be honest. Never met a celeb before. Well, no, I don't know that I'm a celeb, but thank you. Very kind of you. Just back from Kruger. 4 elephant bulls, 1 tusker. Wow. Defense spending package includes $27 billion President Trump's Golden Dome. Cool. $27 billion. That's a walk in the park. That's nothing. We can afford that. Bill Gates and his friends are now going to block out the sun. What? That's dangerous. Okay, I'm a half hour behind. Digital sound from phones is canceled out. Needs to be a proper speaker, like a Bluetooth speaker, for sound to come through. Thank you for that, Wisdom. That explains it. Let's drink a few brandwein and go to dinner, Chris. All right, folks, I'm going to wrap it up here. We're down to 495. Be sure to hit the like button. We've got 588 likes. Been a super chat revenue, 25 new members. Thank you for the new membership. Well, let me turn on the alert thing again so that when we get back next time, we'll have the alerts. Whoa, now my chat's just, woo, look at this. Woo, it was crazy. Just watching a whole bunch of chat fly up here. It finally caught up. Must have been stuck in the buffer over here. So where is the darn alert button at? Okay, come on, where that? Alert, there it's alert box. Okay, it's back on. Springtime. Okay, well, that's in the American, not here. I think President Trump needs to remind all Republican members why they're his top picks. There you go. Okay, all right, guys. Thanks a lot. We'll catch you later. You're going to be redirected over to Ronaldo right now, so you can go to Ronaldo and check it out there, okay? Let me check Ronaldo and see how many subscribers he's got right now. Check on him. So let's see what's going on. I know a bunch of people just left here and went there, so it's going to screw up my looking at his numbers, but it says that Ronaldo currently, he had 144 when I looked earlier to see if he's grown. Probably grown because a lot of people left here already. 181. So let's see. We'll go over to Ronaldo. Come on, spot a biki. Well, they can do that with Ronaldo. All right, tomorrow, Ziane Seyman will be with us. That's the Vibroki girl. She'll be with us tomorrow. Ronaldo is having a little fun over there. All right, that's going to be it, folks. I'm going to wrap it up here. Thanks for being with us, and be sure to hit the like button. Thank you for your time and for your consideration and patience. Really do appreciate it. And I'll see you. Well, there'll be a video I'm editing now to come up shortly, and then I will see you tomorrow sometime. maybe for breakfast if I get up early enough. Cheers, folks. Enjoy your Navik. Cheers.